All right, here we go again. Community staking experiment. I'm going to talk about why I decided to get into this because at first, when I heard about it, I said no. In fact, I got in on about day 5, and I'm going to be brutally honest with you in this video. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that you get into the community staking experiment. This is very similar to DSP, T2X, all those guys. So I don't necessarily recommend this for you, and I'll tell you why. I'll share with you my strategy because I know some of you who are in DSP are going to do this. I'll put a link in the description. If you want to join, you'll be supporting my channel, but I don't necessarily recommend it because I think it's going to be high risk. However, I will give this caveat to them. They've done a lot of things better. There's a fundamental flaw that I still believe is here, and it's really, I went from loving these auction lobby type platforms to beginning to see the flaw in the ones who pay you back in Tron or pay you back in Ethereum or whatever. I just see a foundational flaw there. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's just take a look at this because there are some strong differences here. First of all, they are definitely more organized. I mean, this is an example of someone who's watched people attempt to do one thing and they've come along and basically created a better mousetrap. They didn't create a new mousetrap. They just created a better mousetrap. CSE staking platform built on Tron daily auction lobby, daily Tron dividends, lucrative staking system, completely decentralized. Stake it till you make it. Longer, bigger, pays better. I think that came from some of the Hex community. Anyway, daily auction lobby. Our daily auction will start with 2.5 million CSE tokens per day and will be distributed among the users that participated in the auction based on their purchase amount. This will reduce over the next 365 days. Now, stay tuned in this video because I'm going to share with you my strategy because there's some different token economics here that could affect your strategy, and I'll share with you my strategy as I get a little further into the video. By the way, 2.5 million tokens is very similar to DSP and GXY. Daily Tron dividends. Every day, 98% of the previous day's TRX will be spent in the auction lobby, will be pooled and allocated to users based upon their completed stake terms. Okay, so 98% payout. Lucrative staking system. Stake your CSE tokens within the staking portal. Earn daily interest. Additionally, stakers are rewarded TRX tokens from the daily lobbies based on the percentage of total tokens being staked. So this is one of those things, obviously, just like everything else, the sooner you get in, the better in theory, as long as they don't mess anything up. Join our community. All right, they got Telegram, they got Twitter. Here's the part of it that's interesting. Everything else is pretty much the same. Their FAQ is great. By the way, shout out, I think it's Bitcoin Brown. I think that's his name, Bitcoin Brown. I know he's a commenter on my channel. I don't know if he's a subscriber, but if he sees this video, he can let me know if I miss anything in the comments, and I don't mind correcting that in a future video. But anyway, what makes CSE different? A few things set us apart from our co-platform friends. A community-minded platform driven by you. There it is. Founder is Bitcoin Brown and 2 screened devs. You can message us on Telegram, and we've all been in crypto for years. Made money, lost tons, just like everyone else. We got tired of being scammed and looking at poorly done websites and contracts, so we made this better for the community. 98% of daily div payout. I thought this was a FAQ. This isn't much of a FAQ, is it? But that's okay. Let's read it. 98% of daily div payouts with only 2% platform commission. Yes, we invested in SSLs and Amazon Web Servers, Cloudflare protection. Yes, although we borrowed a clone, we changed all elements of the website, including font, colors, layout, made it friendlier for mobile user, just to name a few. 10% referral fee. Join with someone else's link, get 10% more. 100-day max stakes. This is a big change. The more shares, the more TRX. Be careful. If you unstake early, you kill your tokens, and that will be needed for our first dApp released within 2 weeks of launch. Two big things here. They've shortened it to 100-day stakes, so none of those super long 5,555-day stakes that I love. Not even 180-day, only 100-day stakes. I actually think this is irrelevant, and I'll get to that in a minute. 2 weeks to launch. This is big. They already have a dApp planned, and it's this dApp Pure Charge. Is already planned. We'll look at that in a minute. It's already planned 2 weeks after launch. And by the way, we're already almost done with the first week. So we're only got a week away till launch of the first app. That's enormous. Market contest and giveaways. So this is cool. Every day in their Telegram, they're doing, I have not even joined their Telegram yet, but I've seen other people have told me about what's going on in their Telegram. So they do giveaways and promotions every day. Like, you know, the top people into the auction lobby, the top 5 people, top 3 people, different sort of contests every single day, which is it's super cool to see that. I mean, they definitely are giving back. This is definitely less profitable for the devs than T2X or DSP was, no question about it. Only even with the 2% platform commission that's getting split among basically 3 devs essentially, or 2 devs are getting paid and one person is making the profits, but it's only 2% as opposed to what, 5%. And at the same time, oh, here we go. Sorry, let me back up. At the same time, they're doing the promotions and whatnot. The first CSE token use case DApp charge is already finished. It's finished and will be in testing and launched within 10 days of the staking launch. So CSE tokens will be crucial. So they're already creating a use case for the token. See, I like this. This is interesting. Only 900,000 founder pre-mine. You can also share the profits from the first 2 days below. This doesn't really matter because, yeah, we're already past this. Founder days, 50, we're already past that. Daily 2.5 million founder 2-day launch buy-in opportunity. Okay, the founders days. That was day 1 and day 2. That's already over with. Okay, here's the FAQs. Explain staking. Is there a bonus for staking? We've already covered that. Anything that happens if my stakes end early. You should know what happens here. If you've been in DSP, you know what happens. 1 hour receive Tron. Okay. What time do the lobbies end? That's important. Okay, lobbies are daily and restart every day at 00 UTC. Okay. Should I buy tokens from lobby or JustSwap? It is more profitable to purchase CSE tokens in the auction lobby rather than on JustSwap. This is not true. Stakeholders are rewarded via dividends from the daily TRX pool. Okay, this is not true with all due respect, and they know it's not true. It just depends on the price on JustSwap. Like if the price tanks on JustSwap, then it's going to be cheaper to buy on JustSwap and stake. But the reason they say this is because a fundamental flaw has been with these tokens on JustSwap. It can sometimes kill the auction lobbies, but they do a good job of running promotions and whatnot to bring tokens. That is a smart way to get people to come into the auction lobby. But I would tell you, don't just assume JustSwap is better. See, they're creating a use case for this token. I'm willing to bet there'll be a time when the JustSwap price gets run up, because you got to understand the masses. The masses are always wrong. The sheep are always go to slaughter. So what a lot of people will do is they'll focus on, oh, JustSwap is better, and they're too lazy to compare the prices at around the time of the payout, the last 30 minutes or so. They're too lazy to compare both the prices. What would I get if I stake now? And give you some idea of what you might get in the lobby. What would I get on JustSwap? People are too lazy to check that out, so they'll just keep going into JustSwap. And if you're not careful, at some point you will get slaughtered because they have a use case for the token. So we're going to see that token price go up. We may see some volatility in that pricing that we've not always seen on some of these other platforms. So you just got to be careful there. And if you're too lazy to check JustSwap, you're too lazy to check the auction lobby, then I recommend you just go into the auction lobby and at least be safe there. All right, explain auction lobbies. Lobby CSE pool will start from 3 million CSE per day and goes 200K until 1 million over the next 365 days, but never goes lower than 1 million per day. That's interesting. So they drop by 200,000 a day instead of 40,000. Okay. All right, interesting. 5 days. So this has been running for 5 days, and you can join the community. Okay, so here's what you want to know. I'm in this thing already. Here's the auction. And I dropped 5,000 Tron in. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. I don't recommend it unless you're already very familiar with these platforms, because they are high risk. They're high reward, but they're high risk. So, okay, so I'm going to be blunt with you and tell you why I got into this thing. I ignored it for about, 3 days? And then I saw these lobbies, and I was like, wow, they're doing something. And then I started looking at, why are people coming into this thing? 4 million, 2 million, 3 million, already at 2 million. No doubt about it. We're going to break 3 million today. We still got 3 hours to go. Should break 3 million. Might break 3.5 million. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So the question was, why is this doing this? And then I then I took a step further, and I started looking at, I started asking around, why are people going? And someone mentioned they were doing contests in Telegram. I was like, okay, get out of here. That's interesting. And then they said they already have a DApp developed. Got it. That's interesting. So see, there's already a use case for the token. And I may have this wrong. I think there's another 2 dApps in development. One is completed. They're just testing. So I guess it's in the final stages of completion. And then I think there's plans for 2 more already on the table. They know what they're planning to do. And so I'm hearing some very interesting things. This looks interesting. This looks very neat. So I'm taking a flyer. I'm dropping 5,000 in today. Probably gonna do 5,000 tomorrow, and may do another 5,000. And we'll just see how it goes. I mean, you get in early. This thing we haven't even hit day 10 yet, and it looks like the lobby's holding strong. Looks like, at this point, I think it's gonna, at the very least, it's gonna do well until the first dApp gets launched. By the way, let's go look at that dApp real quick. Then I'll give you my strategy on this platform, because if there's a dApp, things could change, right? Because there's a use case. So I'll tell you what I'm thinking on this platform. CSC token, I haven't even looked at this. The first CSC use case charge is already finished and will be testing, launched in 10 days. Okay. So staking your CSC tokens will be crucial. Okay. Learn more about the project. Oh, they have absolutely nothing here. Secure in the okay. Absolutely nothing here. You can go check out the Telegram. I always recommend that you join Telegrams of these platforms. Just be mindful in Telegrams. Everybody wants to be a fanboy in the Telegram. All right, so let's talk about my strategy. It's because it's pretty straightforward. Here's what you need to consider. You need to consider in the auction that within a few days, they're going to launch the first dApp. That dApp is going to require CSE tokens. So some people are going to do one of 2 things. They're going to say, okay, I know how this works. You want the best share price. And if you don't understand how share prices work, I'll put it at the very end of the video. I have an entire video talking about share price and how that works on DSP. Share price works similar, except you can't stake as long. The longer you stake, the more Tron you stake, the more shares you get. Shares and shares are paid out in its CSE token per share. So the shares are paid. You buy shares basically in CSE tokens. Again, I'll link the video. You can watch that at the end of this video. But the longer you stake, the more Tron you stake, the more shares you get. But in this case, you can only stake for 100 days, but they got a dApp coming out in less than 10 days now, probably less than 8 or 9 days. So a lot of people are going to stake longer because they're going to be like, I don't care, I want share prices. Well, that dApp's going to come out. Everyone's going to start talking about it. When they start talking about it, some people are going to emergency in stake. When they emergency in stake, they're going to lose some of their tokens. Those tokens are going to go to everyone else that's currently staked. And they're going to lose out on some of the Tron that they're not going to get as much Tron. So the next day's Tron is going to go to the other shareholders. So when someone unstakes, whether it's because they get to the end of their stake or because they emergency in stake, those shares are burned. Shares are deflationary, which means less shares, more Tron for the other shares. So all that being said, what is my strategy? 100-day stakes, 100%. I don't give 2 rats craps about this dApp. And here's why. All the dApp is probably going to do is going to give back CSE tokens, or it may give them some way to earn Tron. But if it's successful, it's at least for the first 100 days, I do not personally believe it's going to be any more successful than holding the shares for 100 days. And you're only holding for 100 days. You're going to maximize all your dividends that are staked. So if the dApp is doing well and everything's going great, guess what? In 100 days, you're going to have more tokens than the people who emergency in-staked. You're going to have more tokens than the people who tried to stake early and then tried to roll it over for another 7 days or whatever. No, I'm doing 100 days. Why? Because here's the real question. Do you think the CSE token is going to be more valuable now, or is it going to be more valuable 5 days, 10 days from now after they keep dropping 2 million plus every day? It's getting diluted. Even if they create, and here's the fundamental flaw that I've seen in these projects, even if they create a mega use case for the token price or the token value is going to go way down. But what stays valuable are the shares. Now, they tried to fix the emergency, the long stakes, the 5,555 day stakes. They tried to fix that. You know, they didn't want people doing that, which is really wild because that actually helps support the price. Now they're getting rid of that. They don't have that price support of additional tokens getting locked up. So hopefully they can lock those tokens up through this charge, DApp, or whatever. So there's not, you know, a flood of tokens on the market. But with 2 million tokens coming out every day, I think it's safe to say, in my opinion, that the value of that token is going to be dropping. But the value of shares become more valuable every day, because after I get, you know, if I get, let's say I end up getting 5,000 or 4,000 CSC, when I stake those, I'm going to get a certain amount of shares. If you stake the exact same number tomorrow, you're not going to get the same amount of shares. So the key is you want to go in early, you want to stake as long as possible, in my opinion, and you just don't want to go in all in one shot in the event that this ends up being a super high day. So if this day is like 10 million, which I don't think it's going to be, but if it did, and then tomorrow that ends up being the highest day, and you try to go all in on one day, that would hurt. You know, so you want to kind of, it doesn't matter if it only goes up and down this much or this early, but I'm going to do about 5,000 a day for, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to keep watching this auction lobby. That's just my strategy. And I'm staking for 100 days. And guess what? When 100 days is up, if they're doing good and they got their second DApp out or their third DApp out, great. I'm going to have more CSC tokens. I'm going to maximize my Tron reward. See, that's the key. I don't understand how maximizing your Trons on these platforms, so far I've not seen one platform prove that maximizing your Tron rewards is not the best strategy. And that's the fundamental flaw that I see here. And again, let me explain something. Even if they had 30-day stakes or 10-day stakes or 12-day stakes, it wouldn't matter. You just stake as long as you can, get as many as you want. I actually think for the longevity of the platform, if they can't find a way to tie up tokens or to burn tokens, then they're getting 2 million a day every single day. The tokens are just drop like a rock. They become invaluable. People dump them on JustSwap, the whole 9 yards. They're going to get dumped at some point, unless these dApps really tie up a lot of tokens or they become highly valuable in some way. But I'm excited to see what happens. Either way, you can't lose. That's the whole point. Like, I'm a little bit skeptical about longevity. Like, where can it go? What can it do? And will it really be better? Now, what I'm excited about is they actually have dApps coming out. Because see, here's the thing. T2X is still rolling. It's not the big earner it was in the beginning. Guess what? Even DSP and GXY are still rolling. DSP and T2X for sure. I'm not sure why GXY is still rolling. Probably because they got a community over there. But this is the first one that's coming up with something a little bit unique since T2X. Now, DSP is talking about it. We'll have to see what they come up with. But, I mean, I think this one is got more unique projects. That's interesting. There's definitely something unique going on here. So you can't be, I always say, plan to be able to be right even when you're wrong. So if I'm wrong and they do spectacularly well, it doesn't matter. I'm already in here. If I'm right and they take the same path where the lobby does well and then it tanks and it just mellows out and does really crappy, well, I'm still fine because I've gotten in on day 4, and I'm even if I'm right and it goes south, I'm going to be okay getting in early. So let's see what happens. I mean, I got mixed feelings on this one. That's just the bottom line. That's just the bottom line. But I did well in DSP. I did really well in T2X. And the right development, the right attitude, the right thing going forward, I think I'm going to do well in community staking experiment. I'm optimistic. I'm totally optimistic. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's just the blunt truth. And if you like the blunt truth in crypto, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to always do my best to lead you in a way that I feel is honest. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, crypto equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out. Oh, and one more thing. Let me know your thoughts on community staking experiment if you were in DSP and T2X. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? What are your thoughts? Let me hear from you in the comments. I'm sure the developer Bitcoin Brown will be reading. Thanks again.